The COVID-19 pandemic has significantly impacted the global economy. And so we asked ourselves, how has this affected the funding climate? How do investors look at the market? How do they reassess the market opportunities for startups they have already funded? And how are they dealing with new investment opportunities?
So we're not talking about 10, 20%. We're talking about 50% sometimes or more. But I also think that valuations were completely out of range in the past year or two, and even like 3-4 years ago, Series A was somewhere located at 20 to 30 million posts, and now we've seen Series A's at 100 posts sometimes or even more, which is crazy.
I think we're already being impacted by valuation with the whole SoftBank Vision Fund blow up, and the realization that people can't continue to just pump in money without profit expectations. And so you had pressure from the growth stage. Early stages, if you're talking about seed, it's already I would say stuff that we're seeing is probably anywhere from 15 to 25% valuation-wise cheaper than I had imagined a year before. And there's also a lot of people who are just trying to extend their seed round and put in more money at the same terms as they had raised a year ago. So that's what I'm seeing from a valuation standpoint.
I guess one other point, Jens. If you don't want to penalize a firm that is growing nicely and has met some really good milestones, you can consider offering them a milestone cap sheet or a term sheet. And what that means is that, okay, well, if you accomplish A, your valuation will be this. If you accomplish B, your valuation's higher. If you accomplish C, then your valuation might be exactly what it was under the frothy market that we had before. And that limits the risk on the investor side. And if the company can perform, it's not penalized in today's down market. So like typically, if you have 2 years of runway, we advise, what milestones do you have to achieve to get the next round of financing? Today, our advice is you should have 2 years of runway in cash. And if you don't, cut the expenses so that you do. So that's very different. Typically, you'd wait till you had 9 to 12 months and then go out and fundraise. Today, a number of people are advising that you have at least 2 years worth of cash on hand. And of course, that will extend if you're closing deals. But what we're finding is all of our portfolio companies, it's the time to close a deal, to initiate a lead and then close the deal, that's stretching out for a host of reasons.
I guess diligence becomes more important, talking to people who have actually met the founders before COVID to get a better feeling, how is it working with the individual or whatnot. Because honestly, at early stage where we invest in Series C, C plus kind of, it's all about investing in the founders. The founders are the ones who are going to implement the idea. The idea could be obviously tremendous, but if you don't have the founder actually implementing the idea and building out a team behind it, it's not going to happen. So we really value and pick up on a lot of the body language and communication and how they treat other people when we actually meet with them, or we'll go for lunch and we'll see how they interact with a waiter. Small cues like that unfortunately we can't pick up on right now. That being said, we'll change the way that we do our diligence a bit, and we're going to continue to push forward. It's more difficult right now, but I wouldn't let that discourage you. I mean, at the end of the day, if there's a will, there's a way.
Yeah.